Hello, Danny folks. It is Diecastbuffet here again, and William Byron wins at Las Vegas. Larson, so close again, loses it with 5 to go thanks to a caution. But nonetheless, that race to win diecast for William Byron, I can almost guarantee it's going to be in 124. Most likely going to be in 164 as well. Let's hope it gets some confetti on that. You can go ahead and pre-order that over the red circle B Diecast. Use code Diecastbuffet. And for any orders $30 more, you'll save on shipping. And speaking of which, check out BJ McLeod's Circle B car he ran at Vegas. That thing is beautiful, bright green. That 164 diecast, eventually when it comes out, is going to be fantastic. So let's talk about this Vegas 400. Let me just start with this. Kyle Busch of the truck race, that was a whole lot of fun to watch. The truck race was so exciting, crashes and bashes, great racing. The Xfinity joint, really, really good racing. And the Cup Series, it was not as good as last year, I'll be honest with you, but it was still a really good race. It was very, very tame, but I felt like the tire wear and the green flag racing, they were all over the racetrack. It was really, really good. It could have been better, and we'll talk more about that right now. I kind of saw this coming last year when we went to Homestead, we went to Vegas, and we started seeing less and less cautions. It seemed like the drivers were being less and less aggressive, or perhaps the race cars are just getting better. And when they're reducing the downforce at the short tracks this year, which is amazing that they're doing that, I believe it's by like 20 or 30%. I highly think they need to do something with the 1.5 miles, even just 5%, maybe 10% less downforce, because what's happening is the teams are creating downforce every week as the season goes on. So the same downforce they had in the spring Vegas race last year is nowhere near as much downforce they had in the fall one, and that's why there's such a huge contrast between both events. I think they need to kind of take it back a little bit. And that will attribute more passing, more cautions, more restarts. But even for a tame Vegas race, it wasn't boring in my opinion. It really wasn't. It was dominated by William Byron. The right car won it. Even though Larson led the last stint, Byron was at, what did he lead, 175 laps? I mean, he was clearly the best car in show. But definitely, this could be a problem moving forward with the 1.5 mile tracks, guys. When we go to, Texas Motor Speedway, go to Kansas, you go to, maybe some of these intermediate tracks, maybe like a Nashville, which kind of races like a 1.5 mile. I think they need to start reducing the downforce ahead of time. Don't wait till the season's over and then say, okay, we'll just throw it away and we'll come back next year. The teams are getting better and better and better, and my point is the racing product is going to eventually get worse. This is what I talked about last year. I guess I kind of predicted it. I don't know. But I said the number one goal with this next-gen car is how can you keep the teams from turning it back into the Gen 6 car where it's just green flag racing and next to no passing. And the only way you do that, you reduce the downforce gradually. When they make gains, you pull it back. That's the only way it's going to happen. They failed to do that with the Gen 6 era, and we saw what happened. Nonetheless, I was thoroughly entertained with all 3 races this weekend. Great stuff. Hey, man, if you would have told me 4 or 5 years ago I'd be thoroughly entertained with all 3 races at Vegas, I would have probably thought I was crazy. But yeah, definitely, the 1.5 mile racing is one of my most favorite racetracks nowadays because of the racing we have with this Gen 7 car. Even the Xfinity Series, with, not having 1,000 cup leeches every single weekend, we really get to see these young drivers come in there and do their thing. I know Kyle Busch won the truck race, but I mean, we hardly see cup leeches anymore, which is such a nice thing as a diehard NASCAR fan. I'm curious what y'all think as well. Feel free to comment down below. I know if you're not a Hendrick Motorsports fan, it probably wasn't that great of a show. Let's just be honest, because it was the Byron and Larson show. But we did see Joe Gibbs Racing flash a little bit there late in the going with Hamlin and Truex. Truex trying a very... I thought it was a really good gamble at the end of the race. Because you never know. If you can just get back to the white flag, a caution could come out, stand out on that overtime restart. I love a good gamble at the end of the race. I personally, if I was Larson or Byron, I would have took 2 tires or no tires, so I think they made the right call there. But, hey, it's going to be interesting. And then the next race being Phoenix, if the reduced downforce package does what it's supposed to, which let's hope it does, Phoenix might actually be a good race. I'm actually optimistic because if we can get some cautions, we can get some restarts, some comers and goers, tire wear, slipping and sliding, Phoenix might actually be a presentable racetrack again, at least in my opinion, because I gotta be honest with you, it's one of my least, if not my least favorite track on the schedule because of how poor the racing has been. It races just like Richmond, and if you've seen the last like 5 to 6 Richmond races, next to nothing has happened there. So definitely a much needed change, but I think the 1.5 miles, they need to start considering this because it's only going to get worse. The teams, the Hendrick Motorsports, the Penske's, the Joe Gibbs Racings, they're already starting to bridge the gap. The same thing they did in the COT era, the same thing they did in the Gen 6 era. If you want to keep parity in the sport, they have to continually take away downforce and keep changing it. Don't get rid of horsepower. We barely have any more of that. But definitely downforce, to me, is something they need to work on. But Kyle Larson, man, what a bummer. He almost had that with 5 to go. The caution came out for Eric Almirola. I think it was a warranted caution because he hit the wall pretty hard. There was probably some bits of metal. You don't want to see someone cut a tire down and have a big controversy. They don't want that. So I think it was the right call. For Chase Elliott, though, he didn't race because obviously he's injured. Josh Berry, I think it's just too much expectations to go out there and say Josh Berry's going to run top 10. I think if Elliott did run this race, Elliott would have been in the top 10 considering Bowman, Larson, and Byron were easily the best 3 cars all day. I mean, they were top 3. So maybe Berry will be back in the car again at Phoenix, and if he is, it might be a little bit of a better track for him. We'll see how that one shakes out. But I'm not sure if there's any confetti on the Race Win Diecast. Hopefully it is, because generally the Pennzoil 400 they like to actually have yellow confetti, which might look okay on that car. Hopefully, but was it better than last year's Fall Vegas race? I think so, because I feel like the Fall Vegas race was kind of anticlimactic. It just lacked a little bit of something. But this one was definitely a green flag, clean race. You had like 1 caution, no, 2 cautions for incident, just about. And it could be better. So I'm hoping moving forward, they can work on the downforce. That will help bring back that 2022 style 1.5 mile racing that a lot of people really liked. But who knows? We'll see how that one shakes out. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Don't forget to pre-order that Race 1 diecast. It's going to be a very cool car in your collection, especially for all your William Byron fans. And I'll end the video on this. Every single one of William Byron's Cup Series wins have gotten made in the 1/64 scale. His Daytona win, Homestead, Martinsville, and the Atlanta Super Speedway win. So, odds are this one's probably going to get made as well. That's all for now. Like, comment, and subscribe. Diecastbuffet. Signing off.